北方的很有力气的，但是南方的比较温柔一些，所以好听。
就是在书里面或者我们听录音，你知道那个主持人怎么说？就是您好，你吃了吗？然后到了江西，那小伙子你吃了没？你吃了没有？
But then what I would do is about 3 times a week, I would go to a foot massage. Try it. A foot massage. 按脚.
You're like, oh, that's the right one. It's wrong. Like there's so many, like Wei and Moa. You know, like Zhou Moa.
Zhou Mo.
Yeah.
Because like one stroke is longer, one is like shorter.
So like little things like this, you need to kind of.
Hello guys, welcome back to the video. So this video I interview foreigners in China who speak very good Mandarin. How did they learn Mandarin and what are their tips for people who want to learn Mandarin? So if this video has more than 1,000 likes, I will interview Chinese teachers. Yeah, I would be very appreciate that. So let's get started. Thank you so much for your time. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. I'm Noz. I'm from Tajikistan. 26 years old.
How long you been in China?
6 years.
Do you prefer the interview be in Chinese or English?
Chinese, please.
OK， 那我们说中文。
说，
你是如何学习中文的？
在我们国家现在有很多宣传关于中国的一些东西 ，like 广告 or something。对，所以我看了，我喜欢了。我说中国很好玩，我要去看，我要去那边看看。然后我申请的时候通过了。通过就第一年去武汉，在那边学，在那个华中师范大学学语言的，然后过来这里青岛，在青岛学本科，然后学研究生，现在就结束了。
日常有什么样的一些习惯让你练习你的中文？
就是我觉得跟中国人交流，你只能这样，练习你的中文，尤其是你的听力和口语。可能汉字什么写汉字或者看文字，你就必须要练写，但是如果你想要你的口语相当于中国人，你就要多说。
你来中国之前你是不会中文的对吗？
我会说你好，这个多少钱？是我觉得这个是最重要的话。你刚来的时候你啥都不会，然后他们问你，我们第一时间去兰州拉面吃饭，然后你看文字你看不懂。所以你看图片，你说这个、那个，还有这个，Yeah, that was it.
你觉得学中文最难的点在于哪一方面？
汉字，
就是
看汉字，写汉字，还有语音，you know， 语音。Yeah，尤其是对我们那边国家来说，因为我们完全没有这样的东西。你说就说，因为我会说俄语，还有那个塔吉克语，我们那边没有 tone。
那个单词叫音调。
对，音调。谢谢。对，
不过对于南方跟北方音调的差别还是很大的。
对，
像我来这里，我朋友是北京人，我听他们的话有点吃力。
我去年去那个佛山和广州，我在那边用普通话说，然后他们都跟我说你的普通话比我的好。北方口音。对，他们说你有北方口音。对，你说我在青岛，他们就北方口音，所以你的普通话很厉害。但是我个人我很喜欢南方的口音，你就觉得很 sweet。
真的吗？
对，我很喜欢。
我是反过来，我不喜欢南方的口音。
Really？
我觉得北方的好听很多。
No， 北方的很有力气的。对，它就是哇，但是南方的比较温柔一些，所以好听。但是我觉得你中文一直都要学习，你不能学了1年就觉得哇，我的中文很好。No。Thank
you so much for your time. Can you briefly introduce your background?
Absolutely. My name is Alex, and I come from Toronto, Canada. Been in Zhongshan for the last 22 years. I'm into education, and recently I got into some trading. So originally it was for 6 months, and now it's 22 years. So there you go.
What's your advice for people who want to learn Mandarin?
So when I came 22 years ago, I mean, there were very, very few English speakers here. So I had to learn Mandarin. I had no choice. Nowadays in China, a lot more people speak English, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Here's the way I learned. I have some students that we'd go for dinner, we go for that, and I would write down every new word they taught me in a small little notebook, and I kept it in my pocket all the time. And I'd write everything down, and I would, in my little pinyin thing right there. But then what I would do is about 3 times a week, I would go to a foot massage. Try it. A foot massage. 按脚. You'd go to a foot massage. Now you're in this room in a chair getting a foot massage from a girl who's probably from Hunan or Hubei or something like that, can't speak any Mandarin, can't speak any Cantonese, can't speak English. So now you have to communicate in Mandarin. So I'd pull my little book out and I would start talking to her, and she'd be like, oh, and she'd smile and she'd answer the question, right? And I'm trying to understand what she's saying. And then sometimes I would say something she doesn't understand. I would just repeat it. And finally she'd be like, let me see your book. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep trying this. And I kept trying until she understood. And so, and she answered. So to me, that was like a foot massage and Chinese lesson in one. Dude, 45 RMB for an hour and a half. That's a great lesson, man.
Happy learning.
And 3 times a week, man. So,
Oh gosh, I don't know what to answer to that.
it's true. In the first year, I must have had like 40, 50 foot massages because I would go there every week. Yeah, man.
People usually say like date someone who doesn't speak the language.
Yeah, not me. Go for the foot massage. 我的名字叫 Alex， 我来自中山大概22年。我结了婚，我老婆也是非常好的。我女儿也现在13岁，是初一的学生。我生活在中山真的非常好，跟朋友打球，去玩，见过你啊，在酒吧那里，所以我觉得我生活真的很开心。
Yeah, my name is Kevin. Kevin, I have been in Shanghai for 7 years.
How's your journey so far living in China?
That's great. The first time I came here for around 1 month, I stayed in Shanghai, and I was like, I don't want to stay here. I was not like getting habit with foods and
The food.
culture, everything. So slowly I get habit here. So now if I go out of China, I will miss China. I go back. I can speak Chinese,
You can?
but yeah, 我会说中文，但是第一次过来的时候有一点难。为什么呢？就是要学中文，一开始的时候就说没有那么快，要一个6个月的时间，慢慢开始学会。我现在完全就能说中文，
你中文真的特别好，发音很标准。
还可以，还可以。我没有学过中文的，就是在 language street language. So I learned with my Chinese friends. So that's all. At the beginning, I had a personal teacher. It was hard for me to learn face to face, and after that, I leave the course and I start to talk outside and I start to talk with friends, finding Chinese friends. So slowly, I get it. Actually, around me, all Chinese friends. Around me, less foreign friends. Every day we speak Chinese. I will speak. So if it's wrong, some people that say they don't understand, and I keep explaining. They said like you can pronounce this way, so I can fix my Chinese.
I see many people, they just pull on the translator and show it to people. They actually never get a chance to speak it. Do you also use translator?
Actually, at the first night, it's like when I arrived Shanghai and I was starting to learn Chinese. At the first night, I learned from 1 to 100 the numbers. So the numbers is most useful. But when someone wanna try to learn Chinese, that's really easy.
我们又见面了，野果。
又见面了，好开心，好开心啊！
我们上次拍过一期节目之后，我很多观众就提到最多就是你爸爸对于中国的一个先知。
对，我爸爸到现在还在跟我说，就是你好好学中文。我说爸爸，我可以，我还在学，谢谢。
看过这件视频的观众应该认得出野果，可以向大家再简单介绍一下
介绍一下，就是我叫野果，然后我来中国已经15年，我是来自乌克兰，最早是学生，最后就是做电视台的主持人。
你是如何学中文的？
我最早有一个非常漂亮的一个俄罗斯的应该是乌克兰的这个中文的老师，漂亮当然不是重点，他是一个很好的老师啊。对，你们别想多了啊！他就特别对中文特别有激情，然后他特别热爱这个语言，他就跟我们讲的特别有趣。他说他跟其他的语言都不一样，他有声调，然后他的汉字，他的这个含义很深，就是他一个字可以包含很多很多意思。然后那个时候就开始学，怎么学呢？就是我们会有点像你们这个小学，就是会从拼音，老师会教我们啊，然后一个音一个音学。
你还没有来中国之前，你就在学中文了？
对，我没有介绍，就是我在乌克兰当时读的专业就是英文汉语翻译，英汉翻译，一周有3节课中文，就比较少。
就是你懂基本的中文之后才来的中国。
我会说，基本就是我有哥哥，我有弟弟， 你好，我饿了，就这种。
哦，
就是生存欲，因为你想吃东西，或者你想交朋友，你想踢球，都得用中文去，比如说表达呀。就是我就不吃辣嘛，然后你就得表达我不要辣，能不能有没有不辣的，这个多少钱，这都得用中文去问了。我一直以为声调不是那么重要，我这个发音 OK 了就行，就不用声调。最后在江西，我在那边就解释半天，我觉得我已经说得很标准了，人家一点都听不懂。
提到2点很好，一点是你要生存，你要吃东西，所以你必须会一点中文。第二点是你有踢足球的爱好，
对，
那想交踢足球的朋友也会中文才行。
就是在书里面或者我们听录音，你知道那个主持人怎么说？就是您好，你吃了吗？然后到了江西，那小伙子你吃了没？你吃了没有？我到了南方，我觉得哇，我是不是学错了？这个是这个中文好像跟我们学的完全不一样。但是我到了北方，我才觉得终于就是跟书里面很像。当然，有的比如说岁数大一点的，就感觉他嘴里好像吃一个花生啊，还是我当时你知道，我到了江西，我就想背一下当地的方言。我觉得以后到哪里可以秀一下，或者就可以沟通。发现他离开一点点，下一个农村他已经那个话已经不是这样子了。所以我觉得我就一开始学中文，我觉得不要大量的花时间去背方言，就除非就是好玩啊，就是不要因为稍微换一个地方，人家就听不懂了。
非常感谢你的时间，可以简单的介绍一下自己吗？
可以，我以为这个会是英语的，然后结果是中文的。大家好，我叫黄思涵 Alex，Good to see you。在过去的7年呢，我是住在墨尔本，刚回来。
How do you learn English?
Now, lots of people say, "Oh, your English is so good. Oh, because you went overseas." That's totally not true. It took me years of practice to get here. Going overseas doesn't mean we automatically learn how to speak English.
What's your advice for people who want to learn Mandarin?
I would say read a book called Atomic Habit, because I feel like learning a language is a very long process and it's not going to happen overnight. If you want to learn a language, be prepared to spend a bit of time every day or every week. Make sure you are doing it regularly, and the easier way to do it is build a habit of doing it. If you're a complete beginner, you can start by trying Duolingo, and very quickly you would get bored of Duolingo and start looking for real courses. Now try to make a Chinese friend and ask your Chinese friend to go to Taobao and buy you an online Chinese course. I believe that would be the cheapest way to learn.
This is not sponsored.
My name is Dylan, I'm from Ireland and I am working here in Shantou. Well, I came for the first time in 2018, but I left during COVID, so like 3 years in total.
How do you learn Mandarin?
Well, I started learning Mandarin when I was younger because I had a friend whose grandmother couldn't speak English. I started learning Chinese at that time, Mandarin, but then I realized that she actually didn't understand what I was saying because she spoke Cantonese. So I had to try learn Cantonese, but in Ireland there was nowhere to really learn Cantonese at all. So when I went to university, I decided to stick with Mandarin. In 2018, I had my year abroad, so I came here, and then I decided just to stay.
What's the hardest part of learning Mandarin?
For me, it's the tone. It's funny because in the beginning, when I first started learning Chinese, I kind of thought that people were being rude. You know, like sometimes when you're speaking a language to somebody and they're like, huh? Like, sorry, what did you say? And then they say what you think is the exact same thing back to you. You could say like, 我很喜欢我的马, but they'd be like, okay, cool. Do you have a horse? And you're like, no. And they're like, then what are you talking about? You know, this kind of thing. Not this topic, but more things that can really be a misunderstanding about, you know?
So you're basically saying when you mess up the tongue and Chinese people are kind of acting strange about it or just ignoring.
When you're a beginner, you think everybody is pretending they don't understand what you're saying. But it's true, they really don't. Like even me now, if I have some people speaking to me and they mess up the tone, sometimes it is difficult. You're like, what are you talking about? You know? And then they tell you what they meant and you're like, oh! And then you say it back to them and they're like, yeah, that's what I said. And you're like, it's not what you said.
Oh, you thought people were being rude, like they're pretending like they don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But they're actually confused. Like it's not a pronunciation issue. Well, I mean, if you're a complete beginner, you have the problem with pronunciation and tones. You know, like my biggest problem in Chinese, even now, sometimes I have a difficulty with the U sound, the lu, the green. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, can't do it. Other than that, characters, but you don't have to learn the characters if you just want to speak, you know. But because my major was in Chinese, I had to learn everything, so it was kind of, if you just want to learn it to come to China, then just learn how to speak. If you want to learn it for academic reasons, like if you want to be a teacher or a translator, then you're going to have to learn the characters too.
You learn Chinese from here.
Yeah.
Basically, most of it.
Yeah, I never really self-learned Chinese. It was all through university and schools. So I don't have any tips for people who want to learn it kind of themselves. But all I will say is that if you do choose to learn characters, you need to practice every day, like 1-2 hours every single day, just right. Like when I was learning them, I remember I used to just watch movies or watch anything, not even in Chinese, but while I was watching it, just kind of subconsciously just practicing, you know, because you just need to do it. If you don't do it, you've no way. And even at that, my characters still look like the kids I teach. Like I see my grade 1s and my grade 2s writing their little characters, and I'm like, wow, I write exactly like that. It's kind of funny after so long, like still write like a child.
I have a cousin, I taught him how to write the other day, and he wrote the role like mirrored.
Yeah. But it happens, you know, because it's like an image in your mind, and you try to kind of make it out. Like even some characters look so similar, and you write them, and you kind of like, huh? You're like, oh, that's the right one, it's wrong. Like there's so many, like Wei and Mo, you know, like Zhou Mo.
Yeah. Because like one stroke is longer, one is like shorter.
So like little things like this, you need to kind of.
Gosh, I remember like now I would not forget Chinese, but sometimes I forget how to write.
Yeah, well,
we just type.
Yeah. Obviously, typing is much easier. Once you learn pinyin, you're fine.
If you do it again, would you prefer self-study or you have to enroll in a program?
It depends. I think some people are really good with self-study. Like, people don't like being in classes sometimes. But, like, for example, here in STU, at the moment, I can notice that the classes are very big. There's, like, 20 people in the class, 30 people. So, for me, that's too many people. In our class at the time, there was 8-9 people. So, it was much more personalized for your own kind of learning. I can self-study after I've been taught, but not from scratch for myself. No way.
喂，你好，我是伟豪，我来自加拿大，我妈是菲律宾，我爸爸是越南的，但是他是华人。
哦，难怪你会想学中文。
因为在加拿大，不了解中文文化，所以我就想去这里。
你是如何学中文的？
啊，你说？
你是如何学中文的 ？How do you learn Chinese?
Oh,
that's okay.
我在疫情刚开始的时候，我们隔离，so 我就下了软件，like 聊天的软件，对。
哪一个软件？
叫 Omi TV。
哦耶，那个 video chat。
对，或者 like Tandem，it's like 跟中国陌生人 like connect， so just like made a lot of 陌生朋友，每天练习，我听说唱，所以我就学了各次中国说唱，比如龙胆子，龙胆子对，龙胆子 I pronounce it wrong，鱼头，西安的。
What's your advice for people who want to learn Mandarin？
在国外或者在这边。
在国外吧。
在国外哇，你需要爱中国文化。You gotta be obsessed with this shit. 如果你喜欢说唱 ，bro, just listen to rap. Yeah, 看电影，拼音 I think it'll help with everything. I use an app called Pleco. It's like a dictionary app. Yeah, pinyin is a game changer, you know? Like, if you hear a word and you know pinyin, like I could like type the word in and then I'll figure out what it means and stuff. YouTube 有免费的视频 like just master 拼音。
另外呢，我觉得比如说一开始啊，你听不懂没关系，你再问你这个是方言吗？他如果说方言，我就可能会放在一个不是那么重要的这个池子里。然后如果他说这是普通话，大家都很熟悉，
标准普通话要识别。
or 我会说，那你这个方言是中国人都知道吗？我会这么问。他说不，就是我们老家才有。那我 OK， 那我就不背了，就不学了。
你的中文口音是如何做到如何这么接地气的？
谢谢。你发一下 a little bit it， 对吧？对。然后我们乌克兰人或者俄罗斯人，我们会说 a little bit。我感觉就是最麻烦的就是我觉得发音。因为你语法什么的，你说多了，其实习惯了就好了。但是就这个发音，我就很纳闷，就是怎么让我能说出就是比较像母语的那个。你想学中文，我觉得最好啊， 是找一个好朋友，找一个中国的朋友，就是除了你有这个中文书，你在背单词，你一定要有一个就是实操的机会。然后我觉得你找一个中国的朋友并不难，不要紧张，中国朋友特别开心，而且我觉得他们非常的 tolerant， 就是他们不会，比如说你有个词儿说不出来，他们不会着急。
确实
Yes, very tolerant， 就是
包容，
特别包容。So，这是我的 experience。然后我相信你们就是肯定会碰到特别好的中国的朋友。
对于中国人来说，哇，一个外国人会说中文，哇，好牛逼！
我觉得另外一个比较好的建议，你可以跟 ChatGPT， 你还没有交上这个中国的朋友之前，跟 ChatGPT 可以练练。你知道它有那个语音的那个模式吗？哎 ，ChatGPT， 你听得懂中文吗？
我听得懂中文。您有什么问题或者想聊的内容？
当
刚开始学中文的话，我有几个建议可以帮助你更快进步。一，多听多说，尽量多听中文。
觉得他说的还可以啊，
还可以，
他像人类的声音。
对的，像人类的，但因为他是台湾地区嘛，所以他会，你看我们会说东西啊，这是一个东西，他会说东西，他会把那个轻声会发出来，所以我喜欢这个东西。
那我们就结束了这个话题。
OK， 谢谢伊登，
谢谢。那如何交到中国朋友？
这个是一个很难的问题。到现在我没有一个中国朋友，因为很多中国人看我练的，他们看我的练，他们就不想跟我做朋友，不知道为什么。所以很多人跟我说，不是因为他们害羞，所以他们不想作为你的朋友。但是我觉得他们不是害羞，他们就是看你的，就是说就 OK 这样子，对。
其实我刚回国的时候，我也没有外国朋友，我都是中国朋友。我是开始做 YouTube 之后，我才有外国朋友。
哦，那你现在的朋友很多吗？
中国朋友、外国都很多。
哪个国家的？
哪个国家都有，但是你们国家我是第一个人。
Nice. It's nice to be first.
Thank you guys for watching. So here's a little summary. If you're into music, movies or Chinese drama, you can watch the movies or read the lyrics. You can learn a lot from them. But just be careful because some of the things we don't usually say it in modern days. For example, if you watch some ancient Chinese drama, you probably pick up some weird word, but weird behaviors. Like for example, how people greeting each other. The ancient ways like this or bowing. But nowadays we just shake hands. Also a lot of slang. What we do, for example, hey, come eat. We don't say 来吃饭. We say 来. Yeah, I mean you can try a foot massage too. You can make a Chinese friend who doesn't speak very good English, and so you can teach the person English and you can learn Chinese from the person. So what do you guys think? Feel free to leave in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video.